All right, MMA Maniacs, it is time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the Rula Family Inc. studios. Bueller and Dodge on the mics. Make sure you catch us every week on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and of course subscribe on iTunes. Get us at our regular website, splitdecisionmma.com. Find us on Facebook. Throw us a like at Split Decision MMA Podcast, and of course on Twitter and Instagram at SD_MMA. And today we've got a special guest. You know, you've heard Americana, MMA.org on our show plenty of times, and we are joined today by Fatty. What's happening, man?
Oh, same old, man. Just cold up here.
All right, Fatty. So why don't you tell us who you are, what it is you do, what do you stand for, what do you represent? Tell us about Americana.
Who am I? I'm just a fat fuck from Toronto that started an apparel company for fun. Americana, about 2 years ago, we just started the company up, me and a couple of buddies of mine, just to basically come up with some cool shirts that we like versus some of the other stuff that was in the industry. And it's more of, you know, us being fans of MMA and hardcore metal music and knowing some of the bands and putting, you know, collaboration type shirts together. It's by no means a company that we put together to, you know, make massive profits or anything. It's just a hobby thing that we do. We kind of feel like MMA fighters where they have to get jobs in order to, you know, after they fight. Well, we're kind of the same thing. We're kind of the same thing with the apparel thing. We kind of do it for fun, but we actually work for a living to feed our family.
It's like us.
Yeah, basically, like, you just do it because you're fans, right? And you know, a lot of the things that kind of made us do it too was like to help upcoming fighters. We'll help release a shirt and we'll cut them in on the profits of it, and you know, any profits that we get from the shirt, we just invest into other designs. So yeah, it's like a podcast almost, man. You don't do it because you get paid for it. You're not like, we're not Joe Rogan, you know?
Right.
You know, so that's basically what Americana is. It's kind of like, you know, just a little thing we put together as fans, and being fans, you know, we get really passionate about how, you know, whether it's the UFC or another promotion does certain things like all other fans do, right? We're not the casual fan that follows, you know, oh yeah, Dana said this and we should all agree. You know, sometimes the UFC does fucked up shit and we sit there and kind of, you know, call them on it. They don't give a shit that we're doing it, but, you know, we're going to speak our mind anyway.
So is that where the Team Fuck You came from?
Yeah, pretty much. Team Fuck You is more of a fuck you to, you know, everything. You know, not just like the UFC in particular. It's kind of like a, fuck you, we'll do whatever we want, we don't care. We're not going to fucking star out the fuck in the shirt because it's our shirt. Fuck you, we don't care. We don't do this for money. We don't give a shit if you don't buy our fucking shirts. We have this cool little fan base of guys that are, you know, we're becoming pals with on Facebook now, like you guys especially, and, you know, just anybody who buys our shit. We have these hardcore fans that fucking have like 25 or more of our designs since we started, and it's awesome. I think it's great, man. I wear our shit, you know what I mean? Because I like it. I designed. I didn't actually draw the shit, but they're my concepts, right? I'm just like, I want to do this. I want to do this.
That is the ultimate lazy thing to do. Like, you don't have to shop.
Dude, I can't fucking draw, man. I can't draw. I'm a geek, man.
I'm just saying, like I don't like to shop. So if I could just make my own fucking clothes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to go to Macy's or Macy's. Who the fuck am I kidding? I don't have to go to Target.
Yeah. Dude, if you shop at fucking Macy's, I'm hanging up, man.
Hey, I did find a $4 shirt at Macy's that I still have.
He was at the clearance rack.
The question, though, is what the fuck were you doing in Macy's?
He got lost when he was trying to make his way to the Baby Gap to buy his shirts when he goes to work out.
All right, so that's all right.
That's fair enough. Baby Gap sells my schmediums.
You being a clothing insider, how do you feel the UFC clothing deal? Is it good or bad for the fighters?
You know, we don't know yet, but because the details haven't come out. I think someone interviewed Matt Hughes today about, hey, what do you think of this clothing deal and how it's going to help the fighters? And he basically had this like, I don't know what you're talking about look on his face. So I'm kind of like, like, I think 3 people know what's going on, and that's like Dana and Lorenzo.
Was he in the middle of a country breakfast? I mean, he could have been easily confused.
In all fairness, though, this clothing deal doesn't have anything to do with Matt Hughes at this point. Like,
No, fair enough, but he kind of works there, right? He's the
Kinda.
Is he a handshaker like Chuck Liddell?
You know, he's the VP for fighter relations.
Yeah, I think a lot of these old fighters get hired because the UFC doesn't want them using their name brand with like Bellator or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if they needed to make some money in Bellator, like what is Bellator doing here? Then they sign like fucking Shamrock and all those guys.
Yeah, they got Shamrock,
ambassadors.
Shamrock and Kimbo,
and well, that's later. But the Shamrock and they got Hoist, and they have a bunch of the Shamrock's brother. They
like the old names, yeah.
As fight ambassadors.
You know what?
Around.
But it's smart though, right? Because I think really opened the UFC's eyes was that Tito and fucking Bonner fight. When that fight was on, even though I don't think it was a great fight, but that fight was on the same night as one of their free cards, and it destroyed them in the ratings.
Yeah, made the bed.
And they realized, right? The casual fan still remembers the old school guys, right? And they're really having trouble building stars now. Like, I personally think the UFC has a great roster of guys, right? But for the casual fans, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember Tito Ortiz. I watched that fight, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, they got great fighters, and it's just, I don't, honestly, I'm not in the game of, giving anybody advice on how to build stars. Fuck, man, I have no idea. But they're having trouble with it for sure, That's why Anderson came back.
Oh, yeah, they get paid on big names, obviously, and that's why they're trying to blow up Conor McGregor so hard, because they need fresh blood, because guys like Nick Diaz are just getting too old for it, and don't care.
Well, it's not only that. Nick Diaz gets suspended every other fucking year, so
but
it's like
you knew that going into it. That's the thing, is like, how did they not know it wasn't coming?
Well, they knew it was coming, but they needed money. They had a bad fourth quarter last year, or third quarter, or something.
They had a bad year. I heard someone. Independent analysis, and again, they're a private company, so everybody's kind of like just poking at it, but they supposedly lost 40% of their revenues last year. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so they needed a cash cow fight. And they needed one.
Oh yeah,
they needed one after Cormier Jones.
That's why all the rumors of GSP coming back, man, is because he's cash cow.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wonder if that 40% translated directly to that one card not happening.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this: did Dana White give his kid snow this year? No, he fucking didn't.
No, he did. He did.
Oh, well, then never mind.
No, he took him on vacation surfing somewhere.
You know what? At the end of the day, I think that's why you're seeing, like going back to your original question, I think that's why you're seeing deals like the Reebok deal come in, right? It's just guaranteed. The rumor is what, $25 million a year or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed income, right? And other things I've heard, again, I don't know if these are true whatsoever, but that the UFC, when the company started growing in 2005 and taking off and making money, they took a big line of credit in order to grow it faster, which was worth somewhere around $500 million. And they have to renew that this year. And if they don't show massive numbers, they might not, they might not get that, right? So I don't know. Like, again, I don't know if that's true. I don't have inside information from anybody at the UFC, but that's just shit that's floating around the internet. So it kind of makes sense, right? Like, at the same time, going back to your question about Reebok, is it good for the fighters? No, I don't think so. I honestly, I know one or two of the athletes that they have officially signed under Reebok that hasn't been announced yet. They're pretty big brand names, and the amount of money that Reebok's paying them for years is not that great. Like, I can't say who, obviously, because, friends of mine that gave me this info would kick me in the nuts, but... but like, I don't know, man. I just hear UFC, for me as a fan that, follows like you guys that follow, every little bit of shit in news that comes out. I've just never seen them do anything great to benefit the fighters' pockets. So I'm kind of pessimistic about how this Reebok deal is going.
Yeah, I know James Krause recently came out and said that he lost a $20,000 sponsorship deal basically because of the Reebok deal.
Yeah,
he was dropped.
Everybody's jumping off now. Like, even
before it happens.
Like, who's going to pay a fighter when it's like it's going to end in July? I'm not going to give you any more money. Like, fuck, man. But I think the UFC doing what they're doing with their current cards, like, Lorenzo during the PED little conference call or a little thing he did said that they're going to try and do 2 title fights per pay-per-view for the year. And again, I think that's to justify the increase in cost and as well as get more people to buy, right? Because it's just not working. You know what I mean? Like Demetrius Johnson, I think he's awesome. Like I love watching those little guys fight. It's just the technique they use, but he can't sell a fucking pay-per-view.
Right. We've talked about that multiple times, yeah.
Well, I hate
it sucks.
I hate to beat the payment thing to death, but the sponsors that are jumping off of these fighters, I think they're looking at the big picture here. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but when you got a woman who is getting paid something ridiculous, I know it's well in the 7 figures, a year to twerk on Instagram just because of how many followers she has. That's all she does. She puts up 15-second twerk things. But what I'm saying is,
but that's it.
You look how that's all she has to do. So these guys are like, oh, I can't put my logo on your ass. It doesn't fucking matter if I'm pimping your shit on Instagram. This they can justify giving this woman $7 million a year or whatever for twerking. Then Felice Herring, who has all these
followers on Instagram,
then a sponsor could easily justify giving her $20,000. You know what I mean? If she was going to...
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, you know, someone like Felice, who has a lot of followers, doesn't have as many as this girl getting paid $7 million a year.
Well, then maybe right? Felice should start twerking.
Well, fuck, man. You know, here's the thing, right? Like, when you look at... And I've said this for years, and everybody calls me a fucking idiot, but MMA is not that big. It's still a very niche sport, right?
I agree.
You know, Yeah, it's not. Like, come on, man. I know Dana wants to be the NFL, but fuck, dude, you're about 50 years away from being the NFL. You're like 5 generations of people away from doing that.
I think they're just ahead Major League Soccer right now.
Yeah.
In the States.
In the States. I didn't say World Cup. I said Major League Soccer.
You know, like, so I like MMA. I really enjoy the sport. I watch it all the fucking time. You know, I complain that the UFC puts on 50 cards, but I fucking watch them anyway. Mm-hmm. It's mostly because I have no fucking life and I'm always at home. But honestly,
because it's 20 degrees below outside.
Well, fucking right, dude. Who wants to leave the house? Right?
Are we gonna be seeing your wife in Invicta?
My wife? Are you fucking mad? No way, dude. We're fucking old, man. My wife, listen. My wife is, how old is my wife now? She's 37. She's not doing a fight.
She's not that old.
Fight anybody. No, dude, not old, but old for a fighter.
Make sure she hears this. You are not that old. He said so.
Yeah, because Ken Shamrock is 51, and he's going to be fighting Kimbo.
Yeah, because
who's 47?
Shamrock can't pay his fucking bills. Probably that's fucking insane. And then he's going to do a bare knuckle fight on top of that.
That's like, in the summer.
Yeah, I honestly like. Good for him.
He's got plans for the summer.
I think he's fucking crazy, man.
Hey, man, I'm 36 and out of shape, and if Bellator gave me $50,000 to go fight Ken Shamrock right now, I would.
Yeah, but you know, like, would you fight Ken Shamrock in his prime?
No. I mean,
I don't know.
I could last 30 seconds.
No, I mean old Ken Shamrock. I mean, it has to be. That's the old question.
I couldn't last 30 seconds because I can't fucking run for 30 seconds.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock fought a woman in our mall.
Yeah, outside the mall,
outside
parking
the mall.
lot,
in the parking lot. Yeah,
but he won.
But he also didn't. He also didn't know it was a woman. That's a true story.
I honestly hope that everything that's happening with the UFC, like the stricter PED shit and all that stuff, it, really like cleans up the sport. And I think a lot of the misconception, and I don't even think it's a misconception at this point, but I think the reason why the UFC hasn't grown as big as it can, or MMA, sorry, not UFC, but is because people look at it as like a sideshow. You know what I mean? And
and it shouldn't be. It needs to be a sport, not a spectacle.
I think they're doing the right things. I mean, like I said, it's now on ESPN, and it's getting coverage every single time. You know what I mean? Anytime there is a card, even if it's a small card, ESPN is picking it up. I mean, obviously they have their own channel with Fox Sports 1 and their own branding and everything, but the fact that ESPN's picking it up and they're talking about it, in the middle of baseball games and in the middle of the NBA finals or, things going on like that, I think it's growing in the right direction.
It's getting more mainstream, which is awesame. It's great that channels are picking it up.
It's really good, though. But that started, like, think about it. The Fox shit started, 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
And I know it's been being pushed harder like in the last 10 months, but that didn't help pay-per-views last year because like
obviously,
obviously not. Yeah,
that's a pretty valid point,
right? So like I know it's helping. Like from what I've seen, some of the some of the reporters and the guys that I follow on Twitter that I actually like John Snowden. He posts numbers here and there, and I know their TV ratings are doing better. It seems like they're getting a lot more people on the free stuff, on the prelims, on the fight night cards and stuff. I think it's great, man. Like at the end of the day, I just hope it benefits the fighters in the long run, right? Like
I'm pretty sure in the long run it will. I think right now the UFC just needs to start plugging the holes in the sinking ship before they can start rewarding people again. Yeah,
they're I don't know, man. I think there's a reason why you don't see Dana doing many press conferences anymore.
Yeah.
Seriously, like I've met Dana before, and he's your typical promoter / awesome with fans type of sales guy, right?
He's a Guido.
Well, kind of, but there's nothing. But some of the shit he does, man, it's total. Like, remember that video months ago that came out where he's at a presser, or an after post fight scrum or whatever. And he's talking about Cyborg looking like Vanderlei in a dress. And none of the fucking reporters laughed, man. And what pisses me off is, I understand the reporter side, but I'm like, have some fucking integrity. Call him out on it. I'm like, this guy, that's soulless. You know what I mean? It's just like, how do you fucking say that?
Oh, we've sat through a presser. They're pretty drone. They're all drones. Yeah.
Well, they don't want to get kicked out. They don't want to get banned.
Yeah, you don't want to get banned. You don't want to be like Cage Potato, who's no longer allowed at events.
Is Sherdog allowed at events anymore?
Oh, yeah, they're there.
Oh, they're back now? Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, it just you know what? You get banned for questioning the president. It's like that wrong, man. You know what I mean? You're the fucking face of the UFC, or were at least, Dana, and it's just like, dude, you don't fucking say that about people. What does that show about your entire organization?
Yeah,
you can say that. And
there comes a point where you have to raise yourself above that and not try to be with everybody else at the bottom.
Yeah, I like Dana for being upfront and like, fuck this kind of shit. You know what I mean? That's cool. Like, I'm fucking like that too, as you can tell. But, it's just like, dude, when it comes to, like, I will criticize a bad performance on a fighter because I'm a fan and I want to see a better performance. But I never once, ever, badmouth somebody because of the way they look.
Right.
It's not cool. And that's why, what was it, over a year ago, that whole fucking Ronda thing with me supposedly putting a bounty on her head?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's like, she said something that was totally fucking out of line about Cyborg. It was just totally, you don't say that to a person, especially when you're being, watched and listened by, a couple million people. And all I said on Twitter was fuck this Ronda chick, man. I'm like, I'll give $5,000 to the next fighter who knocks her out. And boom, it's on Fox Sports. I'm like, really?
Hey, any publicity is good publicity, man.
Right?
But that's the thing. People that love Ronda are hating me, obviously, and they're emailing me saying, oh, you did it as a publicity stunt. I'm like, are you fucking nuts? I don't even know what that means. You know what I mean? Like, a publicity stunt?
Why have you not sold the $5,000 bounty t-shirt yet?
You know what, dude? I honestly don't even want to fucking go there. I posted something on Twitter about fucking Ronda again yesterday. Holy shit, dude. You just lose dozens of followers because, the people who follow Ronda religiously just, why can't you question someone because you think, when you look up to someone, I guess some people just don't realize even in, they're not 16-year-olds. You're 20-something, you're 30-something, you're 40-something. If someone does something that's questionable, why can't you call them out on it? But, it's just sheep, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Hey,
we got one more question to ask you before we let you go, man. We got to jump into some news here, but serious.
I'm not fucking going anywhere.
Oh no, we're gonna hang up on you. No, so seriously,
right, man,
seriously, is it black and blue or is it white and gold?
It's fucking right.
Hey, thanks a lot, Fatty. Thanks for actually showing up. Wait.
Bear or pterodactyl?
Oh, who would win in a fight? A bear with machine gun hands and feet, or a pterodactyl that shits chainsaws?
Oh, that's a tricky one, man. I'm going to go with the pterodactyl on that one.
Right on. We'll chalk
They
it
don't
up.
know what a pterodactyl is in Brazil, by the way, just so you know. They have no idea.
All right, guys. Take it easy, man.
All right,
Hey, thanks a lot, Fatty.
No worries, man. We'll talk.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into some news here. CM Punk got sued by a doctor for over $1 million.
He's getting sued, yeah. So basically on that Art of Wrestling podcast they did with his buddy Cole Cabana, where he talked about leaving the WWE and getting ready to, before he transitioned to MMA, before he said he was going to do MMA, but he was talking about leaving and why he left the WWE. He said that a doctor, did not name him by name, but said that the doctor misdiagnosed a problem in his back, and that it actually ended up turned into almost like full-blown staph infection in his back, and he said that it was pretty, life-threatening, and that this doctor misdiagnosed him, and that's all he said, is that, finally when I got out of there, I could go see a real doctor. Well, now the doctor's deciding he wants to sue Mr.
For like defamation?
CM Punk for defamation, even though he was not named by name.
Good luck.
So everybody else just went, okay, we'll see ya.
Yeah, that's nice, buddy.
We'll see if it actually happens.
I mean, you can sue for anything, but it doesn't mean it's going to go all the way through.
And then we have, let's move on. We have some events that have been announced. We have Cain Velasquez will fight Fabricio over Doom at UFC 188. They're trying for Mexico City again.
God, I hope this happens.
We'll see what actually ends up happening with that. I mean, this is supposed to happen June 13th.
Oh, yeah?
Do you think?
I don't know, man. I want it to happen. What sucks the most about this is how long Cain's been out, and has to go up against Verdum. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a tough fight for Cain, but he could come back hungry if he makes it in. Hopefully, well rested. You know what I mean?
Hopefully, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I mean, I want this to happen. Obviously, I think everybody wants this to happen. We need it to happen.
And the co-main event also announced for that is going to be Gilbert Melendez against Eddie Alvarez.
That's
so
cool,
that
too.
bout is finally happening. That bout has never happened. Those guys have both been chomping at the bit, talking trash about each other for a couple of years now, especially when they were, when Eddie was in Bellator, Melendez was talking about going over there. When they were in Elite XC, Strikeforce, throughout all the different stages in which they were fighting, they've been kind of talking trash about each other. Now that they're in the UFC, we get to see that bout finally happen.
Alvarez literally said that Melendez sucks dick.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Is that his opinion?
I guess he compared him to the cheerleader that sucks
Compared him to a
dicks.
cheerleader who sucks dick.
So he didn't say that he actually does suck
Vis-a-vis,
dick,
you suck dick.
but compared him to a dick-sucking cheerleader. All right.
Josh Neer, former Bellator and UFC fighter, is under investigation by Iowa Athletic Commission for doing an unsanctioned fight in a gym where he basically beat the shit out of this guy.
This guy's a fucking troll. Fuck him.
This guy was, apparently giving him a bunch of trash talk on the internet, and they invited him to come down to the gym and fight him to hash it out, and Josh Neer pretty much beat the crap out of him.
In Josh Neer's defense, Josh Neer said if this guy had been my size or smaller, I wouldn't even have called him on. But this guy was like 6'4", 230 pounds,
right? And
was running his mouth. And Neer's obviously not that big. This guy comes down there, gets his ass kicked by Josh Neer, and then he goes back on
social media.
Yeah, says that Josh Neer, he jumped me when I bent over to do something.
Right.
He said he also said, "Oh, I didn't get hurt." The guy looked like he was out.
He looked like he was unconscious.
Yeah, and he got soccer kicked in the face too, and saying, "Oh, it didn't hurt. I want to fight him again." No, you don't, dude. You just want followers. That's all you want. You want the little internet fame that you're going to get from this, and that's it.
Do you think anything is going to come out of this? Do you think the Athletic Commission should be like, well, technically it was an unlicensed fight, even though it was in a gym? Like, it was a heavy sparring session.
It could have been a heavy sparring session. There was no criminal charges filed.
Right. It's not like the guy said the guy,
It's not like they sold tickets to it.
Right.
So, no, I don't think anything should come of this. I mean, Iowa's obviously a different state than we're in. I don't know what that means. But no, the guy, he went to the gym on his own.
Right.
He went to Neer's gym.
He knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, so I don't see anything coming
2
out of
weeks
this.
ago, didn't we have somebody's trainer try to charge them with some type of assault?
Well, I didn't see that.
I don't remember.
I'll have to look it up.
All right. Recently, Joe Rogan on his podcast.
Well, I don't know, is that Rufus Sport Gym? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Okay.
not that one.
Recently, Joe Rogan on his podcast talked about how, with the PED use, and how we talked about this before, how Pride didn't have basically PED testing, that they were not testing for steroids. They were testing for other drugs. They weren't testing for steroids. And he said that it was highly likely that Fedor, in fact, took steroids. And that's one of the reasons why he was able to rise the ranks that he did. He doesn't have any proof. He just said it was highly likely due to the less than stellar drug testing that was going on in Japan, and looking at his body type from when he was in Pride to when he came over to Strikeforce, that had completely changed. Fedor recently reached out. They had an interview. Someone had an interview with him recently, and he said that Joe Rogan likes to do PR scandals. Oh, as always, I'm ready now to test and always will and always have been clean. He said about Anderson Silva that it's extremely upsetting that an athlete of that level actually turned to the aid of drugs to enhance his performance. It's a slap in the face to overall. Slap in the face to the sport, slap in the face to all the fighters in the sport.
I'm pretty sure that Fedor has a different definition of what a PED would be, though, considering his time in Pride and where he's from. And I'm not trying to be a dick here, but you're coming from Russia where they do crocodile. You know what I mean?
Right.
Give me a fucking break here, dude. Like, yeah, maybe you're not doing the androstenedione that we have over here in the States, but I'm sure that there's some fucked up shit that you can either get back home or when you were in Japan.
When they asked
register.
him about the testing in Pride, he said, actually, we did get tested for steroids, but everyone just assumed that no one was tested positive because that there were no steroids. Of course, the thought crossed my mind and assumptions were made, but it gave me strength to know that my opponent may had something while I put in all of the hard work and long training to be a better fighter, which is why, with God's help, I was able to win, whether my opponent was on steroids or not.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about the Fedor.
I want to know where I can get this new God's help steroid. I mean, I'm just saying.
Brilliant. Just a little jar of God's help. That needs to be marketed immediately. And then just have Fedor's quote on the bottle. Just God's help. Just go buy a bottle of one a day.
Right.
And change it to God's help. Put Fedor's picture on it and sell it.
Brilliant. Announced yesterday, Kimbo Slice is returning to Bellator. We already talked about that, but to fight Ken Shamrock in June. This is before Ken Shamrock's bare knuckle bout, which will be going down.
Oh, Ken's doing the bare knuckle bout.
Ken is doing.
I thought Kimbo was.
No,
okay.
Ken is doing a bare knuckle bout.
He's done with that.
Later in August. This is a fight in June. This will be live and free on.
You flash $500 in front of Kimbo, he'll do a bare knuckle fight.
Live and free on Spike TV, and will be the headliner of that event. What do you think about Scott Coker pulling out all the tricks and ponies to keep his circus rolling?
Well, exactly what Fatty said. You know, people are going to know these names. People are going to know Kimbo and Ken Shamrock, and they're going to watch it. They are going to watch it.
Twitter went crazy. We had a bunch of fighters and things. Ben Askren says, I love Scott Coker, but I'm trying to figure out, is this real life or a big joke? MMA Roasted posted, I'm not sure if this is serious or if it was just a big promo for Throwback Thursday. I do like the best one, in my opinion, was from Seth Petrozelli, who, remember, did knock out Kimbo Slice in Elite XC. He says, okay, I call the winner of Kimbo and Shamrock.
Sure, why not?
Give me a fight. You guys hear me. Give me a fight.
Now we have the Masters League starting up on its own. And but it's going to do well. People know the names. And like these are fighters and purists that are talking about this fight.
Very true.
But when you got the average Joe who wants to watch two people beat each other up, they're going to watch Kimbo and Ken Shamrock all day. You know, so it's probably going to do really well for him.
And kind of the biggest and strangest news that came out of this week was the little beef that continues with Arianny Celeste and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey recently was asked about fighter pay. She said she didn't feel that it was any unfair. As long as that we get paid more than the ring card girls, I'm fine with it. Arianny Celeste then went and said, I'm pretty positive we don't get paid more than the fighters. I work my ass off outside of the UFC. Not sure if anyone notices. Talk is cheap. Everything I have, I've worked hard for. I support my family. I'm happy. Assumptions make asses out of everyone. It blows my mind. I have nothing but respect and nice, or I'm nothing but respectful and nice when I met her, and will continue to be because that's how I am. And then she went later on the MMA Junkie show and said, I think that Ronda is a big bully who continuously picks on me.
This is a mountain out of a molehill.
Ronda Rousey fired back and says, what did I say that was a bully? That fighters should get paid more than ring card girls? How does that make me a bully? That makes me fucking right. I'm sorry, but you wouldn't have a job, or she wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for the fighters. She wouldn't. You think her walking in circles around two guys or girls out there fighting for their lives is worth more? You think she works harder than they do?
But she's on every card, though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. And I've called Ronda Rousey a bully in the past, and this was just a statement of like, well, yeah.
You called her a bully because she was bullying Cupcake.
Yeah, and? But
she was flipping her off.
I mean, give me a break here. How much do NFL cheerleaders make?
Right.
They make like nothing. So, yeah.
She says, Arianny Celeste says, she's sick of people bullying her and don't know how hard it is to be a model, a host, and an octagon girl. She separates herself from the MMA world due to harsh critics and appreciate people looking down on her and her peers.
The thing here is, Ronda Rousey's statement is not false, and it wasn't a diss on octagon girls at all. It was just a factual statement that fighters should probably make more than ring girls.
She says, again, then the last little bit was from Rousey. She said, what would have been great for her to say, these fighters work so hard and wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for them. I admire them so much, and definitely think that they should get paid more than anybody in the arena. That's all she should have said. However, she says, She went and became a ring card. I have respect for Brittany Palmer. She went and became a ring card girl to pay her way through art school, becoming a renowned artist, and she uses her ring card girl to promote her art. If you're working at Hooters because you're trying to pay your way through medical school, then fucking work it, girl. I respect the hustle, but don't act like you're hot shit because you work at Hooters. Use it to further yourself in life. Don't think that you're awesome just because you do that. I'm sorry, I'm not impressed with that job.
This escalated way too much. It should have never gotten that big.
I mean, obviously, Fatty made fun of the whole situation by saying that why is Ronda picking on Arianny? Is she afraid that Arianny's going to sell more pay-per-views? He got a bunch of trash for it on Instagram and Twitter.
Well, I mean, but like Fatty was saying, he has no problem calling people out on bullshit statements. Rousey didn't make a bullshit statement. It escalated way further than it should have.
Yeah.
But initially, Arianny Celeste was being way too sensitive.
I don't think she was being a bully by saying that the fighter should get. Now, has she bullied Cyborg about this whole thing? I mean, we can talk about that. This week, she said that that she should basically stop fucking taking steroids and make weight, and then I'll fight you.
Well, she made weight and passed her test.
She did make weight and pass her test, and she said in the past, calling her an it, okay, it's a little much, that's a bullying statement. But to say that fighters should make more than ring card girls, I don't get.
Yeah, but it's also a trash talking sport too.
It is very much so.
And there's no reason why a fighter would target a ring card girl. It was just a statement.
They should fight.
Let them fight.
3 ring card girls and Ronda.
I'd watch that.
Same time.
Naked and Jello.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Wow. Just going all the way, huh?
Huh? Oh, did I say all that?
Was that out loud?
So then we had the fight that was down in Brazil last week. Did you get a chance to watch this?
I just saw the last 2 fights.
All right. So first of all, one of the fights didn't happen. Waldberger
he didn't make it.
Passed out at the weigh-ins
because he didn't have a Waldberger.
What the hell,
and
man?
could not have that fight. That fight did not happen. So
we're gonna see same-day weigh-ins. This weigh-in
it's
thing,
not gonna happen.
I'm telling you,
I don't think it's gonna happen. The other crazy thing about this card is that the house lost. Not only did I lose some of my picks, which I was very devastated about,
which I'd like to show that he pointed out as soon as he came in the
Yeah.
house. Not only did I lose, but
the house lost. 10 out of 11 underdogs won on this card.
See, and I wanted to.
That is insane.
I wanted to do a what's the new betting site now that everybody does?
Counter move.
No, not counter move. It's the one where you do. It's like a bunch of parlay bets. They just
DraftKings.
Yep. And they just started doing MMA, and I just wanted to do a DraftKings and pick underdogs like a motherfucker.
You would have won.
We should do it this card. I think there's going to be some underdogs winning this card.
I was thinking about this one too.
Go over last week's card. We have, at least on the main card, we have Santiago Papazina Bibibo. How did you pronounce it last week? You want to try that again?
Ponzini Bibio.
Defeated Sean Strickland. Frankie Sanchez over Kalantara. Adriano Martins over Rustam Khabibov. Sam Alvey over Cesar Ferreira. Michael Johnson over Edson Barbosa, which I picked. I'll give you that one. That was my one.
That was your one.
Actually, my two. Frank Mir, I was very sad. I thought he was going to make it, but Frank Mir, he wasn't going to make it. Frank Mir over Antonio Silva, knockout in the first round.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing to see.
He then calls out he wants to fight either Big Nog or Brock Lesnar.
When did he find his elbows? I've never seen him throw elbows like that.
He just found them.
He says he has just now found his striking in his career.
Whatever, man. It's just one of those things where the old guy who's like been losing can show up and fuck some up and comer up who's on a title run. And that shit drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely insane when these old dudes who he's never going to wear gold again, but you know what's going to happen? He's going to go stand in front of some kid who's like 10-0 and beat the shit out of him, and that kid's not ever going to make a title run again.
And before we get into Bellator, it was Matt Brown. Matt Brown, as of February 12th, a former coach accuses him of assaulting him during class. And again,
that's Matt Brown, though. Did he steal his chew? It's quite possible. You don't fuck with that man's chew.
Yeah,
you watch The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah. It's Matt motherfucking Brown.
It's Matt motherfucking Brown.
So seriously, can we get a room consensus here before we jump into this? Is it black and blue or is it white and gold?
It's black and blue.
It's black and blue. They've actually shown pictures of the dress.
No, I don't. It's not the same dress.
It is the same dress. It's proven.
Nope.
There's multiple other pictures of that woman wearing that dress.
Except for the one picture that was in question. It was on a hanger. It wasn't on anybody.
What's really funny is Fatty said it jokingly, but they showed one where it could be red.
Actually, yeah, you can buy that same dress in black and red.
You can buy that dress in like 3 different colors, but that picture is white and gold.
You know what picture you can't? What color you can't buy it in is white and gold. You cannot buy it. It's not from the manufacturer. You cannot buy that picture.
Lies. It's all lies.
Look, your eyes are old, and you just can't.
You know what's funny is
focus.
I saw it black and blue last night before I went to bed when I was drinking, and then I woke up this morning and it was white and gold.
Same thing.
And
same thing.
Yeah, and Nick Diaz, he's fucked up about this right now. There's a video going around. There's a video going around where he's like, what? He's looking at the thing. He's like, what? It's a black and blue dress. But everybody else in the house
says,
like,
it's
white and gold. And he's like, shit, you guys are fucking with me.
Oh, right now I'm sending something to Tommy Toehold about he should do. You know how he has Diaz and GSP smoke a pot?
Yeah,
they should have those two lit in a room argue about the. I'm gonna send it to him right now.
I was more entertained by the llamas yesterday. Just saying, the great llama race.
Except for what BuzzFeed did to it afterwards.
Escape thing that was great.
It was fantastic.
30 minutes of llamas escaping through Arizona.
Fuck that dress.
Bellator 134 will go down tonight with your main event. Emmanuel Newton defending his belt against Liam McGeary. Also on this is the British Invasion. Paul Daly against Andre Santos. King Mo against Czech Congo. Linton Vassell with going up against Sokoju. Brennan Ward and Curtis Melander. Who else do we have on this card? Let's see. Yeah, that's your big fights.
You got British Invasion, but you got like 2 French guys on there.
European.
You're British European. It's all the same.
British European.
They're all the same island.
It's like Canada. It's America's attic. You go up there and go, hey, look at all this cool shit I totally forgot that America had.
Now, 80% of the Canadians live near the border anyway.
Right?
They don't want to go too high up there. Fuck that.
Then we also have Invicta 11 going down tonight. And yes, the main event is going to be Christine Cyborg Justino against Charmaine. Twitter has gone... what is it?
A flutter?
A flutter, yeah. Tweet? I don't know.
A Twitter?
Twitter has become self-aware. And has formed itself into a body and will now fight Cyborg.
Charmaine Tweet.
Charmaine Tweet, who has fought Ronda Rousey before and lost.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
hasn't everybody lost against Ronda Rousey?
Just throwing that out there. Everybody that she's fought, yes,
you
yes.
You don't have to say and lost. Like, you just fought Ronda Rousey.
That would be the same as undefeated.
Yay! Prelims kicking down for Fight Pass for the UFC 184 going down on Saturday. We have Masayo Folan going up against Alexander Torres. Both these guys coming off the Ultimate Fighter Latin America, and both lost in the first round, so I really don't care about picking one of these fighters because I couldn't tell you. One of them got knocked out and the other one got submitted.
I'm going to go with Torres.
They were not impressive to me on the show because they lost in the first round.
Well, then they should either be fighting for their lives tonight or it's going to be the worst fight of the night.
Yes, I'll give it that. And also on the prelim Fight Pass card, you have Valimir Lazario going up against James Krause. James Krause is huge for lightweight. He is 6'2". That's the biggest lightweight I've ever seen in my life.
How big was Corey Hill?
Was that maybe 6 foot?
No, okay.
Krause is pretty big, man.
Okay.
And then I know Lazario trains out of Nova União. Again, both these guys. James Krause, the fights that I've seen him in, he's done pretty good. He is 2-2 in the UFC right now. Lazario, they're training at Nova União. You can't ever count those guys out. I mean, they do lose, but they do train pretty tenaciously. I don't know who to call on that one. Do you want to throw a guess out there?
Krause.
Going with Krause.
Yep.
Yeah,
Krause.
okay. And then we have your only heavyweight fight on the card, Derek Lewis, kicking off the Fox Sports 1 main card against Ruin Potts. This is where I see there's a problem. Potts is a good grappler. However, he's coming off 2 knockout losses in a row. Whereas Lewis is coming off 2 knockout wins before he lost to Metrione. I got to give this to Lewis just because of that. Just because he's got 2 knockout wins and Potts has got 2 knockout losses in a row.
Yeah, that's like compounded at that point.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I don't know what else to say about that. Diego Lima taking on Tim Means. Tim Means, we've known pretty good veteran of the sport. He is 22-6-1, 4-3 in the UFC, going against Lima, who is 1-1 in the UFC, 10-2 overall. Diego Lima, we saw in the Ultimate Fighter 19. He's got a pretty good jab, pretty good takedown. But Means is always comes to fight, man. He always is a scrapper. He's really good in the clinch. This one's a tough one for me to call as well. I think Diego Lima can get it done. However, I think I'll be rooting for Tim Means.
I'm going to go for Tim Means on this one.
Like Tim Means?
Yeah, I just think that his skill set and his experience in the cage is going to help him out a lot in this fight.
I definitely could see that. Then you have Nofurumi Kid Yamamoto returning from 3-year layoff.
Good Lord.
Coming back to fight Roman Salazar, who is basically looking to make a name off of Kid Yamamoto's name. Kid Yamamoto hasn't been in the sport for 3 years.
Make a name off of Kid Yamamoto, a guy who's 0-3 in the UFC.
But what he did before the UFC was pretty legendary. I mean, he was really, really good in Japan against really good opponents.
I know, but he's also, and you and I don't see eye to eye on this, but he's one of those guys who I'd say come over here and kind of exposed how weak those fighters were over there. They were getting sensationalized for not really doing a lot because they came over here.
But the guys, see, that's the thing is the guys that he defeated over there were the big guys that did well here. So that's where I see it a little bit different.
Okay.
He was a good wrestler, is a decent boxer. He is a legend, especially in Japanese MMA. I was really disappointed that he just didn't make the transition. In all his fights, he did really well, except for I think the Vaughn fight's the only one that actually he got caught in. I think he can do it. He has what it takes to do it against Roman. Roman is a kind of a journeyman fighter as it is. He only fights maybe once a year in different organizations. Now coming over to the UFC again. I think Yamamoto can do it, but with the track record and a 3-year layoff, who knows?
It's hard for me to even go for Roman, a guy who's 0-1, but I can't root for Yamamoto. Especially
I know you
being 0-3 and a 3-year layoff. There's just no way, dude. And I think that if he's looking to make a name off of him, then he's going to.
Yeah. And then your main event on the Fox Sports 1 card, we have Mark Munoz going up against Ronan Carneiro.
Sure.
So it looks good, yeah. Munoz, we know, is a good wrestler. He has a pretty decent guillotine, definitely heavy hands. Pretty good in his boxing. He's gotten a little bit better with them. However, I just think his best years are behind him, man. I mean, Mark Munoz
he's shown a lot of wear.
He's shown a lot of wear, and I think he got into MMA a little too late. He graduated college top NCAA All-American champion in 1998. He didn't start MMA till 2007.
Wow.
That's a big time, and he was a coach in 2003.
So what is he, 40?
No, I don't think so.
He graduated college in 1998?
Yeah.
I graduated high school in 97.
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
I didn't know he was I honestly didn't know he was that old. I thought he was younger than me.
Boom. Yeah. It's 37.
30 in a row? The math still doesn't add up.
I don't know what to tell you.
It makes him a year older than me, but he graduated high school like the year or graduated college the year after I graduated high school. I don't know. I'm not very good at math, but that still doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
He finished college in 1 year.
Maybe. He's that smart.
You could do that with AP test.
I'm going to say that's how he got his wrestling credentials too.
Ronan has not been in the UFC since 2008. He has fought in smaller organizations. He is definitely a veteran of the sport. He's 19-9. He's 2-3 in the UFC though overall. He's got good wrestling and grappling. I just don't think his wrestling and grappling are as good as Mark Munoz's. However, Mark Munoz's chin has not been holding up well, and he has. I don't know what to say. Mark Munoz. I really like Mark Munoz coming in. When he came into the WEC, he was wrecking shop, man. He was doing a good job. But I'm going to be rooting for him, and I'll take Mark Munoz overall. I think it's going to be a grinding decision, but either way, one of these guys is not coming back.
This is going to be a WrestleFest probably.
Not coming back. Kicking off your main card on the pay-per-view, Tony Ferguson going up against Gleison Tibau. I don't know what the fuck to say about Gleison Tibau. If you don't know what Gleison Tibau looks like or is going to do, you either don't know MMA or have never listened to this podcast fucking ever. Gleison Tibau is ginormous for the weight class. He comes in looking like a fucking Hulk. He's going to grapple guys. He's going to throw them against a cage. He's going to take them down. That is all he's going to do.
Literally says same shit another podcast on Dodge's Notes.
I don't know what else to say.
It's pretty accurate.
El Kukui, Tony Ferguson, he's a good wrestler. He's got good chokes. His Bravo choke is really good. His front head choke is really good. He's a good striker. He just doesn't mix them up that well. It's like he strikes and then he has to stop, reset, and then go into grapple mode. And he does not make the blend as easy as he should. I will be taking him overall in this fight. I think he can get a late stoppage, possibly grind out Gleison Tibau, but who fucking knows because it's Gleison Tibau. If Gleison Tibau is going to win, it's going to be decision.
Think so?
When has he not won a decision?
Then I got Gleison Tibau by decision.
Alan Jouban going up against Richard Walsh. This fight, again, not a whole lot that I can pull on these guys. Alan Jouban, we know he's a good pressure fighter. He's 1-1 in the UFC. He's got a really good left kick. Both low and high. He does seem to struggle a little bit with the wrestling, but he is really good in the clinch, whereas Walsh is also very good in the clinch, very heavy-handed, likes to move forward. He is also 1-1 in the UFC. It's kind of a toss-up fight for me. I don't understand why this is on the main card. I'd rather see Kid Yamamoto, obviously, because I'm a fan, or even Mark Munoz on this on the main card. Even I'd like to see, Diego Lima, Tim Means, I think would be a great main card fight. But, however, we do have Alan Jouban and Richard Walsh. Who are you taking?
I will. Joban.
I'm with him.
All right. Then we have Josh Koscheck going up against Jake Ellenberger. Koscheck is 17-8, 15-8 in the UFC. Looking to say what he says, retire in the octagon someday, which may be coming really soon. Against Jake Ellenberger, who's 29-9, 8-5 in the UFC. Koscheck, big time wrestler known for his overhand right and eye pokes. That's what he's going to do. He's got a good double leg. He's going to poke you in the eye.
Got to go with the cause.
Poke you in the eye, double leg takedown. Start with the overhand right. We'll see
Or he's
what
really
happens.
good at faking a knee injury.
Or really good at faking, the eye poke where it's like, he hit me in this eye. Oh, wait, it was over here. Jake, the Juggernaut Ellenberger, he's got really good power, really good kicks, has decent wrestling. However, he has 2-4 of his last 6.
Wow. And you're still taking Jake?
I really want him to put it together and knock out Josh Koscheck.
I'm with you.
And retire Josh Koscheck.
Well, no, I'm still torn on Koss.
Are you okay now?
You
might be okay now.
I mean, he did kick my ex-wife in the head.
So you're okay then?
Yeah, I might have to root for him.
You're okay with that?
Kick Jake in the head.
Remind me.
I root for him because of like his nomadic ways that he can't really fit in anywhere.
He's in Fresno, and that's where he's been for a long time.
But but he doesn't really like to
He's got his own gym now, where he can have his own billboard
That's
instead of the one down from AK.
He had to get his own place because
his own billboard. Co-main event: Holly Holm, 7-0, making her UFC debut, going up against Raquel Rocky Pennington, who is 5-4, 2-1 in the UFC. This is a great day, they're saying, for women's sports. We have the co-main and the main events both in the women's division.
For MMA itself, I'll just say it right now, I hope that Raquel beats the shit out of her.
All right.
Just so that a woman doesn't come from boxing and just
Holly Holm
whoops her,
Former 18-time champion boxer, 33-2 in boxing. She also is 3-1 in kickboxing, has a vicious head kick. She has been training at Jackson's, Winklejohn's, since she was 18. She started out in an aerobics class and switched to boxing and became a world championship boxer.
She's on cocaine.
She has definitely fought in some smaller shows. She fought in Legacy and in Bellator. She's probably going to be the most technical striker in the women's division today, and this should be a decent test. We have yet to see her ground game. However, I don't think Rocky will be the one to test it. Rocky is definitely a scrapper. She is former Invicta fighter, also came off the Ultimate Fighter 18. She fought some of the bigger names in the division and has never been knocked out. However, this could be the first time you're going against a pro boxer.
Yeah, this is all bad news for Raquel
however,
Pennington.
I will say Raquel Pennington did take this fight seriously and smart. She is training with a bunch of the girls that are heading to the Olympic boxing trials right now.
That's awesome. That doesn't match up with an 18-time champion.
That at least gives her at least a pro to fight with and to train with.
You need for this to be a serious matchup. It needs to be Holly Holm versus somebody with some ground game.
She is definitely a scrapper and definitely durable. I'm excited for this fight. I think Holly Holm, however, will take this.
It's gonna be lightning fast. It's gonna be
you
a
think
lot.
So?
Well, I mean, I don't mean over. I mean the exchanges are gonna be lightning fast.
Yeah.
These guys are gonna be going for it, balls out. But yeah, I think that in the end, Holly Holm finishes. Tits out.
They don't have any balls, Joey.
Tits out. Tits out for the boys.
Balls are off.
Look, it's equal opportunity, man. I can say balls out.
And, of course, your main event, Ronda Rousey, 10-0, 4-0 in the UFC, defending her belt against Alpha Cat Zingano.
You already picked Ronda?
Of course I'm already going to pick Ronda.
What?
She is 9-0, 2-0 in the UFC. Cat Zingano. She's really good. Her striking at range is just all right. She is really good in the clinch, though. She has some brutal knees. She messed up your girlfriend's face, Cupcake Misha Tate, with those knees. So bad that the referee stopped and said, "Your face is a mess." Which she retorted, "Well, your face is a mess. Let me keep fighting."
Who said that?
Misha.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The way you said that was like right out of a movie. I can't figure out which one.
She throws... has some great throws from the clinch as well. We saw that against her fight Amanda Nunes, where she got that tie clinch, turned it into a front choke, and then suplexed her quickly and dropped her on her head. She likes to move forward and wear down her opponents. She has really good cardio and durability and some decent wrestling. However, going up against Olympic judo champion Ronda Rousey, who is her boxing definitely seems to be increasing.
We've seen in her last 2 fights, she's able to put people away.
She's definitely been able to put people away. Her at range, she doesn't have the KO power, but when she gets in the clinch, that's when she goes to work. She uses her combinations, she uses judo trips and tosses, and then when she gets that toss, man, she lands on top already in a great position. She has brutal ground and pound, and then she immediately just starts hunting for those submissions. She's able to pass guard with ease.
Yeah.
And I really think, as strong as Cat Zingano is in the clinch, if she has to get in the clinch to really put the damage on Rousey, you're going for a ride, and you're going to get smashed on.
Yeah.
And you're going to get submitted. I mean, if she could strike at range, possibly like Holly Holm could, or maybe a longer fighter that could strike her at range, she could probably take this fight. I mean, we saw Misha try to do it, and she did decent. When it got in the clinch, it was over.
Right.
And that's where I think the problem is with a lot of these girls. I want to know if any of these other girls that have actually beat Ronda in the Olympics or in the Pan American Games are going to start training MMA, come after her.
Are we going to see a great white hype situation?
You know what I mean? Like, who was the last one to defeat her?
We're going to get the one person that defeated Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, back in the Judo Olympics, and like we're going to take her and make her an MMA fighter. Although I think they're all like 38 right now, so it's probably not looking good.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm with you on the Roundy decision here. I don't think that there's any other way to go. You really think that Zingano's going to win this?
I'm betting all underdogs on this card.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That only worked on the last card.
I know, but I was looking at it, and how can I go wrong?
All right.
You know what? There's no way on the main event and the co-main event I could go underdog. I just couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Other fights, definitely.
Yeah, I can't pick any worse than Dodge last week.
That's true. Nobody can, except for the house.
The house.
Well, that wraps it up again this week, folks. Thanks for listening. Make sure you tell your friends to get us on Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Of course, subscribe on iTunes. Our website is splitdecisionmma.com. Find us on Facebook, Split Decision MMA Podcast, and throw us a like, or on Twitter and Instagram, SD_MMA. Big thanks to Fatty from AmericanaMMA.org for being on the show today. Forgot to ask him what the discount was this week, but, you know.
He spins a wheel, I believe.
It's like cold as fuck or something like that.
Cold as... No, that was last week,
That
and it
was
was
last
for 48 hours.
You
but
could
you
still
know,
use
just
SDMMA.
Yeah, just go
Just
to
type random cuss words in the thing until it works.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And go check out Invicta. It's on right now, I believe. Invicta 11 is going on.
Okay, cool. There you go.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't start until I thought 7.
By the time this gets uploaded, and people actually download it and listen to it.
If it's in Brazil, it was yesterday.
Possibly in the future. Possibly in the future.
God, we're idiots.
East Coast time.
From the Rule Out Family Inc. Studios, it is Bueller and Dodge saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fight.